Saturday Night Live once again slams Meghan Markle as she is spiraling after burning all of the bridges.
Okay. King Charles visited the U.S. to mark the 250th anniversary of American independence from Britain and to seek the release of a British hostage being held by an American. Children don't know who their daddy.
Saturday, May 2nd, 2026, Studio 8H, New York City. 3 days before this moment, Colin Jost looks straight into the camera at the Weekend Update desk on national American television. On the one show, every politician and celebrity praise they never end up on, and he called Meghan Markle something. Not in code, not in metaphor, out loud. The exact words, right on cue, full screen behind him, a photo of Harry and Meghan together. The studio audience didn't groan. They didn't shift uncomfortably. They absolutely lost it. Jost nearly cracked, fought a smile down, moved on, and just like that, the damage was done. Within 36 hours, that 9-second clip was everywhere. Page 6, Sky News Australia, GB News, The Daily Mail. Every Royal Watch account on the planet was sharing the moment Meghan Markle got called out on NBC, in prime time, with Harry's face right there beside her. Here's what's wild, though. This wasn't some slip-up.
Meghan Markle is once again getting trolled. Oh, poor Meghan, the most trolled person in the entire world.
SNL doesn't do slip-ups on Weekend Update. Every single line gets approved by multiple writers and a network lawyer before Jost even touches those cards. That means somebody at NBC, somebody whose entire career depends on not getting sued, looked at that joke and signed off on it. They knew exactly what they were doing. The audience wanted it, and they delivered. So how exactly did America's most iconic comedy show go from rolling out the red carpet for Harry and Meghan to treating them like the punchline of the decade? Because what you're about to see is 8 straight years of America slowly, quietly turning on the Duchess of Montecito joke by joke, year by year, until even the network suits stopped pretending to be on her side. Look, maybe this is just a comedy bit, but when the same joke lands the same way, on the same network, for 8 years straight,
the hatred for Meghan is all over the place. She has burned way too many bridges, so it doesn't surprise me at all. And hence why we're getting jokes like this, because she's become the joke. Meghan Markle is completely a joke at this point.
That's not accidental anymore. That's a pattern. And patterns don't lie. Rewind exactly 12 months. May 10th, 2025. Same desk, same Jost, same Saturday slot. A major trade deal between the US and the UK had just dropped, proper headline news. Finance pages, the whole thing. Standard political punchline territory. Then Jost glanced down at his card and instead of going the usual route cut to a photo of Harry and Meghan, fresh off a Beyoncé Cowboy Carter concert the very night before, the studio completely lost it. Full hysterics. Jost's lip twitched for half a second. He pulled it back. The clip had circled the globe before the weekend was even over. Now stop and think about what actually just went down there.
Listen, I brought Meghan Markle, whatever her name is, to my Deal or No Deal celebrity golf tournament. She was one of my Deal or No Deal girls that were, she was a caddy for all of my celebrities.
Yeah, everyone wants to see it.
An American comedian made a joke suggesting that Britain, Harry's actual home country, was using a trade deal as an excuse to avoid taking the Sussexes back. The whole premise? Harry and Meghan are so unwanted that even a sitting US president cutting deals with the UK couldn't make them someone else's problem. They've become a diplomatic headache, a hot potato nobody wants to hold. Now think about where that leaves two people who were once on track to become future king and queen of the Commonwealth. And the timing? Brutal. This aired the exact same week Harry was publicly reaching out to the BBC, talking about wanting reconciliation with his family. The same week Meghan was out there pushing her latest Netflix project. SNL looked at all of that and basically said,
NBC has announced plans for a spin-off to the hit series Suits, which will be set in Los Angeles. It will focus on Meghan Markle's character's struggle to balance her legal career while also caring for an unemployed immigrant.
Even your home country is using American trade policy to keep you here. The Sussex squad tried to flood the reaction online. Nothing stuck. The clip kept spreading. Sky News Australia ran it on repeat. Page 6 embedded it. Royal commentators everywhere picked it up. Back in 2018, a joke like that would have triggered organised online backlash within hours. This time, barely a ripple. The audience had moved on. The protection was gone. And here's where it gets really interesting. That 2025 trade deal joke wasn't a standalone moment. It was practically a warm-up act for the May 2026 moment 12 months later. Same writer's room, same target, same explosive audience reaction, just bigger. Now here's the part that should genuinely make the Sussex camp sweat. These SNL hits aren't new.
President Trump also announced a new trade deal with the UK that will reopen British markets for American companies. All that Britain demands in return is that we keep these two.
They're not some reaction to recent headlines. They were roasting the Sussexes before their first child was even born. April 13th, 2019, SNL airs a sketch called Royal Baby Video, framed as a fake home video. Emma Stone is hosting. Mikey Day plays Harry. Kate McKinnon, with her best stiff upper lip, plays the late Queen. Right there, on camera, in prime time on NBC, the Queen's character addresses Meghan's pregnancy directly. Big laugh, nothing cut, fully aired. Then, Cecily Strong, playing Kate through what looked like gritted teeth, delivers a line that aged into straight-up prophecy.
You know, I mean, she used to be on
Was
Deal or
he
No
infiltrated?
Deal. Look, she was on Deal or No Deal.
Yeah, that's right.
And then the wife convinces you to leave the royal family. Like, I'm out. I don't need you guys. Which is crazy, because don't you just get free money?
Let that land for a second. This is 2019, 2 full years before the Oprah interview, 3 years before Spare even existed. SNL's writers were already framing this marriage as a slow-burning feud before the world had heard a single complaint coming out of Montecito. They saw it coming, they put it on television, and not one person, not Meghan's team, not Harry's team, not the Sussex squad, managed to get a single line of it walked back. That half-traitor line, by the way, became Royal Watcher shorthand every single time Meghan does something that raises eyebrows. McKinnon's deadpan delivery turned a one-shot joke into a meme that's outlived 4 British prime ministers. The sheer audacity of putting that line in the Queen's mouth, and the world just laughed right along.
The irony of her calling Lauren Sanchez trashy, but now quietly realizing, oh crap, I should have befriended her more, is so hilarious to me. Because Lauren Sanchez, same type of thing, but she bagged someone richer and actually who has power, unlike Harry. Meghan must be so damn jealous of that.
Hold that thought. Because before we get to the joke that everyone agrees is the most savage thing SNL has ever put on air about the Sussexes, you need to see what was happening to the other controversial royal in the building. January 22nd, 2022. Andrew had just lost his military titles following the Virginia Giuffre civil settlement. Jost looks down at his card, 2 jokes, back to back. The first one, a setup about Andrew deleting his Twitter after realizing it wasn't the app with all the dancing teenagers. The second one, a wordplay so sharp that royal commentators were still quoting it 3 years later, something along the lines of it being an unprecedented case of an adult getting stripped of absolutely everything.
Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, the former prince and...
The audience erupted. Jost barely flickered. Then he called Andrew Britain's most eligible bachelor bone dry, not a single crack in his face. Fast forward to November 1st, 2025. Charles had formally removed Andrew's princely title just 2 days earlier. Che takes the desk. He delivers a line, and this one earned SNL its strongest press headlines that entire month. Variety called it savage. The studio gasped first, then howled. The clip was everywhere by Sunday morning. Now,
Prince Andrew has been stripped of his royal title of prince due to his involvement with Jeffrey Epstein. And Andrew says he can only become prince again if he gets a kiss from a young princess.
context matters here. Andrew was taken in by authorities on misconduct charges on February 19th, 2026. He has not been convicted of anything. SNL went there with that joke. We're simply reporting that they went there. We're not going there ourselves. But the fact that NBC's writers' room felt completely comfortable putting that line on air says everything about where Andrew now stands in the American comedic imagination. Then comes the moment that ties everything together. May 2nd, 2026. Same weekend update where Jost's Meghan joke landed. Same segment, same audience. After the other jokes hit, Jost delivers the closer, then pivots. A photo of Andrew leaving a station fills the screen behind him. The audience gasps, then full howl. HuffPost, Rolling Stone, and Variety all covered it within 24 hours. 3 syllables. SNL turned the most disgraced royal of the modern era into a punchline so compact it fits on a graphic. And they did it in the same segment, on the same network, as their most cutting Meghan joke ever broadcast. That's how SNL is framing this family right now. Meghan is the hostage situation, Andrew is the name nobody wants to explain, and Charles is the man quietly making calls between them. Now we get to the moment that longtime viewers will recognize instantly. December 16th.
King Charles also presented President Island.
2023. The Wales family Christmas card had just dropped. The world noticed something was off almost immediately. The editing controversy exploded, tabloids went into meltdown, and the card got pulled from agency wires globally. The first time that had ever happened to a royal photo in living memory. Jost looks at the camera, pauses for timing. The studio erupted. The mock-up they cut to was a thing of pure editorial genius. The line went global within hours. Here's why this joke matters more than any of the others. SNL took the Wales family photo scandal, twisted it together with a running thread about Meghan's own brand image controversies, and distilled the whole thing into a national punchline in 12 seconds flat. That's the kind of sharp cultural shorthand it takes royal commentators 6 months to catch up to. And here's what should genuinely be keeping her PR team up at night. Look at the full 7-year arc. In 2018, SNL is mocking the stuffy English aristocrats at the wedding and treating Meghan like the cool outsider. By 2019, she's the half-American, half-traitor punchline. In 2021, Daniel Kaluuya is on that same stage, delivering a line about being exactly what the royal family was worried about. By 2023, she's the counter-image to a Photoshop scandal. In 2025, she's a diplomatic burden. And by 2026, she's being called out on national television in prime time.
A Christmas photo released by the royal family features a bad Photoshop job where Prince Louis's finger appears to be missing. And this is sweet. Meghan Markle said she has a finger they can use if they need it.
That is not a comedy show drifting. That is a comedy show documenting a brand collapse in real time. Meghan can release all the cookbook reels and Netflix glamour shots she wants. SNL is keeping receipts. And the audience laughs harder every single year. 8 years ago, this woman walked into the most beloved royal family on earth, with the entire American media establishment firmly behind her. Today, the writer's room at 30 Rockefeller Plaza is using her the same way it used Andrew just months earlier. Bad luck doesn't do that to a brand. Choices do. And before anyone says SNL only recently turned on her, let me take you all the way back to where it actually started. May 19th, 2018. Harry and Meghan have just married at Windsor. 41 minutes of swelling music, white roses, a gospel choir, a genuinely beautiful day. Then SNL's Weekend Update goes live that same evening. Michael Che's opening line lands raw from the studio. On the literal night of her fairy tale wedding, the very first SNL Meghan punchline ever recorded was already calling her husband a freeloading basement dweller in front of millions of viewers. Skip forward. April 10th, 2021, 1 month after the Oprah interview. Daniel Kaluuya hosts Black, British, Oscar-nominated. He steps up for his monologue, gestures at himself, and delivers a line that got a standing ovation. The whole room understood immediately. It ran in Newsweek, USA Today, every reaction channel out there. Just like that, SNL had taken Meghan's most emotional Oprah moment and flipped it into a stand-up bit. Now jump to February 4th, 2023. Spare had been out for exactly 1 month.
We know what that means.
That's LA. She wants to be famous. She found the guy to make her the most famous in the world. Now she's over there and she's like, if she didn't marry him, she would be on The Bachelor this season. She would be Megan M. from Sherman Oaks barista. She just got lucky.
SNL pulls out a fake British rap segment, Millie Pounds and Shirty, James Austin Johnson, Devin Walker, Chi. The lyrics are flying fast, hitting every royal scandal you can think of, one after another, relentlessly. Then comes the line that stopped the entire room cold. The Queen character drops, "Not today, Satan." The audience went completely to pieces. That line entered the Royal Watcher Dictionary overnight, and it didn't just stay there. You'll still see it plastered across social media every single time Meghan does something that raises eyebrows, which keeps happening on a fairly regular basis. What makes that rap sketch so significant isn't just the laugh it got in the moment, it's the fact that SNL committed to a full musical production number about the Sussex situation. That's not a throwaway joke slipped between two other bits. That's a writer's room that sat down, brainstormed the concept, scripted every lyric, rehearsed the choreography, sorted the costumes, and put the whole thing on live television in front of millions. That level of creative investment tells you everything about how deeply the Sussex story had embedded itself into American pop culture by early 2023. They weren't a passing headline anymore. They weren't a curiosity. They were a fully established, recurring character in the American comedy playbook, and SNL was treating them accordingly. And the audience response confirmed it. There was no confusion in that room, no awkward silence, no hesitation. The laugh came immediately, fully formed, from an audience that already knew exactly what was being referenced and exactly why it was funny. That's only possible when a story has truly taken over the public consciousness. SNL didn't introduce people to the Sussex drama that night.
I'm black and I'm British. Basically, I'm what the royal family was worried the baby would look like.
They just gave the audience a new, funnier way to talk about something they were already completely familiar with. That's a crucial distinction. So here's the full lineage laid out clean, because when you see it all in one place, lined up in order, it hits very differently than seeing each joke in isolation. 2018 Basement Dweller, 2021 The Kaluuya Monologue, February 2023 The Millie Pounds Rap, December 2023 The Finger, 2025 The Trade Deal, 2026 The Hostage. Look at that progression carefully. Look at how each joke builds on the cultural foundation the previous one laid down. Look at how the target shifts from Harry as the punchline to the marriage as the punchline, to Meghan specifically as the punchline. The audience didn't flip overnight. SNL built this year by year, joke by joke, layer by layer, with the patience and precision of a comedy institution that knows exactly what it's doing. That's not accidental. That is not a comedy show stumbling into controversy and getting lucky. That is a deliberate, calculated, audience-tested escalation playing out across nearly a decade of television. Each joke pushed the line a little further than the last. Each one landed. Each one went viral. Each one generated the press coverage that told the network the audience was not just okay with this, they were hungry for more, and so the writers gave them more. Every single year, without apology, without hesitation, and without a single meaningful piece of pushback from anyone powerful enough to make them stop. Now here's the part that should genuinely make anyone in the Sussex camp lose sleep at night, and it goes deeper than just the jokes themselves.
Elon built electric cars, he's going to Mars. Why isn't he even involving himself with Twitter? It would be like if the Prince of England gave it all up just to marry an actor from Suits.
It's about what those jokes actually represent in the broader cultural conversation, because this is where most people miss the real story. When SNL mocks someone consistently over a long period of time, they are not leading the audience, they are following the audience. The writers don't sit in that room and write jokes they think might land someday, if they're lucky. They write jokes they already know will land, because they have spent decades developing an almost surgical understanding of what America is thinking, feeling, and quietly saying to each other at dinner tables and in group chats. The joke is always the last step, not the first. The cultural shift comes first. SNL just puts a spotlight on it. So every single one of those punchlines, from the basement dweller in 2018 all the way to the hostage situation in 2026, wasn't SNL turning on Meghan and dragging a reluctant audience along with them. It was SNL reading the room and reflecting back what an enormous chunk of the American public was already quietly thinking, already privately saying, already feeling but perhaps not yet comfortable expressing out loud in polite company. And when SNL says it out loud, on national television, to a howling studio audience, it gives everyone else permission to say it too. That is the real power of what's been happening here. That is the mechanism that makes this 8-year arc so significant. And that is a much, much bigger problem for the Sussex brand than any individual joke could ever be on its own. And here's the kicker that almost nobody has properly clipped or analysed yet. As of this week, the Brits have officially...
It was reported that the organizers of King Charles's coronation have officially invited Meghan Markle. And this is nice, at a starting salary of $19 an hour.
formally and loudly joined in. March 21st, 2026, SNL UK launched on Sky and Peacock simultaneously. First episode, Tina Fey hosts, and if that casting choice alone doesn't tell you that this is a serious, fully resourced production, nothing will. The brand new Weekend Update desk goes live with Anya Magliano and Paddy Young. Their very first line out of the gate was bold enough to make even the most seasoned television veterans do a genuine double take. That's the British SNL's opening shot across the bow, and what an opening shot it turned out to be. Their second segment that same night went after Andrew, specifically his new living situation being quietly arranged, Sky TV reportedly being installed, the whole setup delivered with that signature dry British understatement that honestly sometimes hits even harder than the more explosive American approach. But stop and genuinely think about what SNL UK actually represents for a moment, because this is a much bigger cultural moment than it might appear on the surface. For years, decades, really the British media operated under a completely different set of pressures and unwritten rules when it came to the royal family. There were things you just didn't say, lines you just didn't cross. The institution carried a weight, a cultural gravity, a sense of national identity so deeply embedded in the British psyche that even the boldest, most fearless British comedians kept at least 1 foot behind an invisible line. You could tease the royals gently, you could raise an eyebrow, you could do a gentle impression. But there was a ceiling, and everyone in British comedy knew exactly where it was, even if nobody had ever written it down.
Today, Suits actress Meghan Markle married some unemployed dude who still lives with his grandma.
The American show could go further precisely because it was American. It wasn't bound by those same unwritten rules. It didn't carry the same sense of national ownership over the British monarchy. To SNL's New York writers' room, Harry wasn't a future head of state's family member with centuries of institutional weight behind him. He was a foreign celebrity who'd moved to California and was fair game for the same treatment they'd give any other public figure. That geographic and cultural distance gave them a freedom that British comedy simply didn't have, and they used it fully and without restraint for 8 straight years. But SNL UK changes that equation in a way that cannot be overstated. Now you have British comedians, people who grew up with the monarchy as part of their national identity, people with British accents and British cultural references and British lived experience standing at a British Weekend Update desk and going after Andrew and the Sussexes with the same energy, the same confidence, and arguably even less restraint than the American show has been bringing since 2018. The unwritten rules just got rewritten in real time. The invisible ceiling just got demolished on British television for a British audience on a major international streaming platform available to millions of subscribers. That is not a small thing. That is a seismic shift in how the British entertainment establishment is now willing to publicly engage with royal controversy, and it happened so quickly and so smoothly that most people didn't even stop to register just how massive it really was. The point, when you bring it all together, is this. SNL UK is up. It's running. It's growing its audience week by week, and it's doing something that the American show, for all its reach and boldness, simply couldn't do from 3,000 miles away.
I'm black and I'm British. Basically, racism.
It's going after the British end of this story with the kind of insider cultural fluency and instinctive reference points that only come from actually being British. The jokes land differently when they come from inside the culture. The audience recognizes themselves in them differently. The permission feels different when it's their own people granting it. Andrew sits front and center as the primary target of the British show. Harry and Meghan get woven into practically every other sketch, referenced and circled back to with the casual ease of writers who know their audience already has all the context they need. And the Sky viewership numbers? Reportedly through the roof and still climbing week on week. The British public, it turns out, had been waiting. Just waiting for someone to step up, break the unwritten rules out in the open, and hand them official permission to laugh loudly and publicly about all of this. SNL UK just delivered that permission straight to their screens every single week. Now zoom all the way out and look at the complete picture, because this is where the scale of what's happening becomes genuinely staggering, even to people who've been following this story closely for years. You have the American SNL, the longest-running and most culturally influential comedy institution in the entire history of American television, systematically and with increasing boldness documenting the Sussex brand, collapse since the literal night of the royal wedding in May 2018. 8 years of jokes, 8 years of audience reactions that got louder with every passing season, not quieter. 8 years of viral clips spreading further and faster each time. And now, sitting right alongside that, a brand new British version of that exact same machine firing up on the other side of the Atlantic, targeting the British angle of the same ongoing story with even more cultural specificity and arguably even less restraint. The Sussexes, sitting in Montecito, working on the next project, planning the next product launch, filming the next lifestyle reel, are now, as of this week in 2026, the most consistently and comprehensively mocked couple on 2 continents simultaneously. Let that land properly, because it really is an extraordinary thing to say out loud and actually mean literally. 2 continents, 2 versions of the same legendary comedy franchise, the same targets, week after week, the same audience reaction, the gasp, then the howl. 8 years of accumulated cultural context sitting underneath all of it, giving every new joke an added weight that a standalone punchline could never achieve on its own. 8 years ago, these 2 people were a genuine, unironic, universally celebrated fairy tale. A real-life prince, a Hollywood actress, a Windsor Castle wedding watched by hundreds of millions of people around the world, live on a Saturday morning.
If you want us to sum up our thoughts, take out the pods and hear me, all right? Because we have a way of talking back in the end. Hey, 30 milli pounds. Yeah. Prince Eric, stayed over at Tyler Perry's, press cold like Bren and Jerry's. I'm allergic to dairy.
Then the killer.
Harry and Meghan, Ronald Reagan, interracial dating, Queen said not today, Satan.
With genuine warmth flowing toward them from virtually every direction. The American media loved them. The British public was cautiously optimistic. The global audience was enchanted. The future looked luminous. This week, in May 2026, they are the joke that opens the show. On both sides of the ocean, every week, without fail. And the audience laughs harder every time, not out of cruelty necessarily, but out of that particular deeply satisfying kind of laughter that comes when a comedian says out loud the thing everyone in the room has been privately thinking for a very long time. And what makes this entire situation particularly fascinating from a pure media analysis perspective is how spectacularly ineffective the usual crisis management playbook has proven against it. The Sussex operation has tried virtually everything available to a modern celebrity brand, navigating negative public perception, strategic long-form interviews designed to control the narrative, carefully timed project announcements to redirect attention, new platforms, new partnerships, new creative ventures, new philanthropic angles, new lifestyle content. every single time a new project launches or a new interview drops or a new initiative gets announced, the SNL writers' room is sitting there at 30 Rockefeller Plaza, completely unbothered, with a punchline already written, already tested, and already cleared by the network lawyers. The machine does not pause for rebranding efforts. The audience does not reset its memory because a new cookbook drops. The receipts do not disappear because a new Netflix series starts streaming. Social media keeps every old clip alive and searchable right alongside every new one, meaning the complete 8-year arc is always just one click, one share away from anyone who wants to see the full picture. I said at the very start of this video that I might be wrong about reading too much into what are, at the end of the day, comedy bits on a late-night television show. I am officially, completely, and without any remaining hesitation taking that back. The clip counts don't lie. The audience reactions captured on camera don't lie. The Sky News Australia loops running the same clips on repeat don't lie. The Variety headlines don't lie. The Page 6 embeds don't lie. SNL on both sides of the Atlantic, across 8 years of consistent, escalating, audience-approved content, has made it their deliberate and ongoing institutional business to track this particular brand collapse in real time, and they are doing it now with more confidence, more boldness, and significantly less restraint than at any previous point in this 8-year run. Until something truly seismic, not a new project, not a new interview, not a new platform, but something genuinely seismic changes the fundamental public conversation around the Sussexes in a lasting and meaningful way, that is exactly where SNL is staying. Comfortable, confident, creatively energized, and laughing all the way to the ratings report every single Monday morning. Because here is the cold, uncomfortable, PR-resistant truth that sits underneath all of this, and that no amount of Netflix specials, product launches, or carefully worded statements can soften or dissolve. SNL does not punch down. It never has. Not in 50 years of broadcasting. It goes where the cultural current is already flowing and amplifies that current, gives it a sharper edge, a funnier voice, a wider audience. The fact that this current has been flowing in one specific direction consistently, powerfully, and with growing force for 8 straight years, getting stronger rather than weaker with every passing season, louder rather than quieter, with every new joke that tells you something profound and uncomfortable about where the public conversation actually sits right now. Something that no press release, no sympathetic interviewer, no carefully managed media rollout can undo or redirect. The audience made up its mind over 8 years of Saturday nights. SNL just kept reading the room, kept writing what the room wanted to hear, and kept delivering it with the confidence of a writer's room that knows, with absolute certainty, that the audience is right there with them. The good news, if you're genuinely searching for it somewhere in all of this, there is plenty of material left in this story, plenty of chapters still to be written, plenty of developments still to unfold. The bad news? Every single indicator available, the clip counts, the audience reactions, the press coverage, the social media engagement, the launch of SNL UK points in one direction. And that direction does not appear to be changing course anytime soon. Now, if any of this surprised you, if there's a moment in this 8-year SNL arc that caught you completely off guard, or if you think there's an angle we missed or undercovered or should absolutely come back to in a follow-up, drop it in the comments right now. We genuinely read through everything you send, every single comment, and some of our most watched and most shared follow-up videos have come directly from details and angles that this community flagged first. You notice things. We appreciate that more than we can properly express. If you made it all the way to the end of this one, and this was a long one, so serious respect for sticking with it, hit that like button right now. It makes a genuinely massive difference in getting this kind of deep dive content in front of more people, and it takes literally 1 second of your time. If you're not subscribed yet, right now is the moment, because we are nowhere near done with this story, and there is so much more coming that you do not want to miss. Share this video with someone in your circle who follows the royal drama, because this is the complete, fully assembled SNL arc, 8 years laid out in sequence that nobody has put together in one place until right now. The people who follow this story need to see it all connected like this. We will see you in the next one.